on the loop of the square here, guys. Again, if you look right now, as soon as we get a green light, you'll see the Children of Lear monument there off to your right hand side. This is where the St. Patrick's Day parade in Dublin begins every year. At this point here, top of the square, and then it goes down to O'Connell Street, up over the squares and back up O'Connell Street to finish here again on the other side of the square. There is a little monument underneath a tree there to your right hand side. It shows a chain running down the centre of it with a break in the chain, symbolising Ireland's break with Great Britain. So whenever you see a statue of a unicorn, for example, with broken chains hanging from its hooves, that's what it signifies. Because the British created the Royal Irish emblem, which was a unicorn on one side, a lion on the other, representing Great Britain. The harp is in the middle, which is the emblem of Ireland, and surmounted by the crown. We're the only country in the world that has a musical instrument as our national emblem. Did you know that? Ireland, yes, it's a harp.
Oh.
Not to be confused with the harp you see on the side of the pint of Guinness.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
Everyone thinks the shamrock, don't you? Think of Ireland in green and shamrock. Shamrock is more to do with our religious leanings, Catholic religion, Christianity, the coming of Christianity. St. Patrick used the shamrock to describe the Holy Trinity, the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost. So that's where the shamrock emblem comes from. But Ireland is an open society, so we couldn't use something that indicated one side of religion in favour of another. We wouldn't be a proper democracy then. Now we're on O'Connell Street, guys. This is where the great battle was fought in 1916 between the British and the Irish. Well, it was fought all over the city, but O'Connell Street suffered the most because the concentration of shells into this area, because this is where the main rebel forces were held up. The movie Michael Collins, starring Julia Roberts and Liam Neeson, is a wonderful movie to tell that whole side of things. Julia Roberts, oh my God. I saw her in Dublin when they were making the movie, coming out of a hotel. I was standing there in the crowd. And I always believed if she had just looked the other way that day, her life could be so much different today. She didn't look it. There's a statue here on the right hand side. Those of you who went to Guinness last night, I told you about Father Theobald Matthews. This is him to your right hand side, the Apostolate of Temperance. The Apostolate of Temperance, who founded the pioneers who don't take alcohol. This is the Millennium Spire. That's all I'm prepared to say about it. Look to your left, you can see James Joyce back there behind you, a little statue gazing up into the clouds. The building across the street here, guys, is the General Post Office. It was from this building in 1916 the Easter Rising began, when Padraig Pearse and his followers took over the building and declared Ireland independent. Then the fighting started. Then we have a gentleman here to your right hand side, James Larkin, this man holding big hands aloft, who founded our trade union movement. He's telling the people forms the dividing line between the north and south of the city. That river is 67 miles long, but yet as the crow would fly, it flew in a straight line from here to its source is only 12 miles away. So it finds its way to the sea like a snake. And then as we make our way through the Lear Street here, looking straight ahead of you guys, you can see the grey walls there of the rooms here at Trinity College. The rooms are the students' accommodation. This is Ireland's oldest university, founded here in 1592 I should say, by Queen Elizabeth I. She became concerned that the Catholic colleges in Ireland were Catholicizing our English subjects here in Ireland. So she became gravely concerned about that. So she wanted a Protestant university in Dublin to educate people in the Protestant way. So she founded Trinity. Today, however, about 80 to 90% of the students attending are Catholics. But you did have to get a dispensation right up until 1971. Entrance to Trinity College, the West Gates here, with the statues of Edmund Burke and Oliver Goldsmith standing outside. Goldsmith in particular was a student at the college, a poor student. He got in on a scholarship. He was known as a Servican. He used to sneak out at night into the old inns around Dublin City to listen to poetry by little penny poets, they were known at the time, and that's what inspired him to create such works as She Stoops to Conquer and The Deserted Village, which were kind of satires of their time. Both men are cast, by the way, identical from the waist down. One has his left leg out, the other has his right leg out. Wouldn't you laugh? Just only thinking out loud. Do you know when they tried to bury that guy that wrote the Hucklebuck? They had great trouble getting him into the coffin. They put his left leg in. You're worse for laughing at that stuff, you know that. Now guys, if you look straight ahead, Grafton Street here, straight into Dublin's premier pedestrianised shopping street. And we'll be ending our little jolly around the city in this location here, so you'll have a chance to go visit Grafton Street and the other wonderful streets around this area, all pedestrianised. And all Trinity College still stands here to your left. This is where the world famous Book of Kells is housed. Beautiful manuscripts containing the 4 Gospels, written in Latin but highly illuminated. And the illuminations of the book are as present today as they were 1,000 years ago when it was created. They reckon it took over 200 years to create in craft. And considering it spent about 200 years wrapped in vellum, hidden in a bog in the middle of Ireland, that's why we call it the Book of Kells, near where it was found. It's in extraordinary condition. So it's housed there in the Long Room Library. It's one of the top visits in Dublin, but you must be pre-booked to see it. You can't just rock up there anymore. You need to book online. But if you were going to do it, book sometime in the afternoon if you wanted to go see it. Well worth seeing. Anyway, saving that, there's loads of other stuff to see. Up Kildare Street here to your right hand side we have the entrance to our National Museum and our National Library. That's on up the street to our right.
Flattery.
Wi-Fi password. He said, you have to buy a drink first. So I said, well, a pint of Guinness then. So he pulled me a nice pint of Guinness, plopped it up and paid for it. I said, now can I have the Wi-Fi password? He said, yeah, all lowercase, one word. You have to buy a drink first.
That's been funny.
Brilliant, huh?
Brilliant, yeah.
So now if you look left here, guys, the main entrance to St. Patrick's there is on your left-hand side. The other side of this bust is a statue of Sir Benjamin Lee Guinness. When Oliver Cromwell's forces came to Ireland in 1649, they destroyed St. Patrick's. They burnt the roof off it and everything. Sir Benjamin Lee Guinness funded a full and that window there to your left hand side, best viewed from the inside, by the way, looking out into the light, always with stained glass. To your left hand side here, a little arched doorway, is the entrance into Marshall's Library here in Dublin, which houses an ancient collection of manuscripts and documents. The library opened in 1715, and when it first opened, because its collection was so rare and ancient, if you wanted to read anything in there, they locked you in a cage whilst you were in possession of the document. Then they were low on space, so what they started to do was to hook onto the top of the cage, and using a windlass, they'd wind you up off the floor. You dangle up above, yeah, so people could get passage underneath. They still have some. Christchurch is to your right, the Synod Hall is on the left, and this is where Dublinia is located in here, the other side of that coach park there. That's the entrance to a wonderful Viking exhibition in there, telling the story of Viking Dublin. The reason it's positioned here beside Christchurch Cathedral is because the Vikings founded the city on this site where we are right now. We discovered Wood Quay, the archaeological site, into your right. The laneway runs up the far side, so you see the three flags flying there on top of the building behind you. The laneway behind that is called Fishamble Street, where the old fish traders used to trade. And halfway up that is the Handel Hotel. It's a new hotel, but it takes the name Handel Hotel, looking at the history of the street, because the old Dublin Concert Hall once stood there. And in 1542, on the 5th of April that year, 1742 I should say, and all the ferries from the UK. We will be travelling by ferry, as you know, to the UK. For many years, since the mid-90s, we've had the Ulysses operating from Dublin here as the world's largest car ferry. We will be using the Oscar Wilde, which is just about the same size as the Ulysses. So it's like a big cruise ship that will take us across to the UK. Well, I think of it too, guys. Batman and the Grim Reaper, all up there. Here on Westmoreland Street comes to my mind. We see Trinity College once more in front of us here. When we go around, if you want to change US or any other kind of dollars into local currency, people aren't getting warned anymore. You can't do that in the banks here, or in the UK. You can't go into a post office. You can't go into a credit union. It's European anti-laundering, money laundering laws were brought in a number of years ago. There is one place I know of.
Inom ako sa bar.
Do I get ice?
Yes, please.
Anything else?
All right.